Hey there, BookTube! Long time no see. I am very sorry that it took me so long to finally upload a video once again. That was not planned at all. Life just happened. Stuff happened that wasn't planned or predicted or anything like that. I get really sick. My illness really kicked up. I have been struggling with an illness for over 14 years now. It kicked up a notch through second half of 2016, and the entire January of this year was not that great for me either. So yeah, I didn't feel like reading much. I did not feel like doing anything I didn't have to do. So I'm sorry for not uploading videos, but I honestly did not feel like doing it. And since this is something I want to do for fun, I feel like I have to do it, so I didn't do it. I do want to say that I hope to be better in 2017, in not only in my health, hopefully, let's just all hope for that, please, but also just generally with uploading videos. So I made a schedule. I hope to keep up with it, and I would love to know if any of you have any videos you would like me to do or that you missed from me, seeing from me. So please let me know any of those in the comments. We'll definitely try to include those in the upcoming weeks. After saying all of that, let's just never ever talk about 2016 again and just move on from that year, and let's focus on 2017 and share the new year book tag. As always, I will link the creator and the question and all of that good information in the More Info bar, so check all that out there if you are interested and want to do it as well. I know technically you should do those kinds of tags that revolve around the new year at the beginning of January, but you know what? It's still the beginning of the new year, so let's just deal with it and let's get started and not blabber on endlessly at the beginning of this video. So the first question is an author you'd like to read that you never read before. I have two books for that actually. The first one is Brand Weeks, and especially The Black Prism, since I have it, but I want to read something by him this year, or more than one something by him this year. I kept hearing about this author, so I'm really interested to see if it is for me. I would like to read something by him. And I would also like to read something by Steven Erikson, and the book I have here is the German edition of The Garden of the Wounds, the first book of that series. Since I have it, I want to read it, and I never read anything by either of those authors, and I keep hearing fantastic things about them, so I want to finally read them in 2017. The second question is a book you'd like to read. The book I would like to read this year is A Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin, and I did not plan to make it that fantasy heavy at the beginning of this tag. When I was looking through my unread books on my shelf, I kept getting back to this book for the book I want to read this year, because I know that it will take me a while to get through this book. It takes me forever to read Martin's books, and yeah, I really want to read this year. Not sure how I'm going to do it. Maybe get myself to read a couple of chapters each month or something. Not sure yet, but I would really like to read this book this year. Third question is a classic you would like to read, and that is The Way We Live Now by Andrew Trollope. I love this edition of the book. I find it very beautiful. I have owned this for a while now, and I never picked it up for some reason, not sure why, but I want to finally pick this up and read it. The fourth question is a book you'd like to reread. I would really like to reread the Ottori Clan books this year by Leon Ern. I have no idea how to say his name, sorry. This is the German edition, but the English title is Across Nightingale Floor. I really enjoyed the first three books of this. It's a series now, but back when I got it from my mom, which is years ago, it was a trilogy. I have the first three books. This is the first one, and the other two are up there, but I would really like to reread at least the first one, if not all of the books I own, maybe even get the fourth and the fifth one in the series to finally complete the series. I'm not sure, but I would really like to read this one. The fifth question is a book you'd had for ages and want to read. Now, I have owned this book. This was one of the first books I bought because BookTube people kept recommending it and saying, you have to read it, and so I bought it. I never read it, so I never picked it up. I have no idea why. I kept hearing about it. I keep hearing about it. It's still a very talked about book. I still have not read it. I have no idea why or what's wrong with me, but I had it for ages, and I want to finally pick up The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. Next question is a big book you'd like to read, and I have a plethora of books for that one. For one, those 3 books I already shown could clearly go for that one, because all of those are pretty thick, as could The Way We Live Now, since that is almost 800 or over 800 pages, so clearly a big book as well. But I would also really like to read It by Stephen King this year, which is over 1,000 pages, but I never read this book, and I would love to finally read this. I would also really like to read The Crimson Petal and the White by Michel Faber or Michael Faber. I have no idea how to say the name, but it's humongous. So if I get to any of those or all of those, that would be fantastic. But any of those big books I would really like to read. Question 7 is an author you previously read and want to read more of, and I have 2 of those because, let's go with the theme I have here and show more books than necessary for each question. The first one is by Vanessa Diffenbaugh. I read The Language of the Flowers and loved it. This is one of those books I keep pushing and pushing on people. Everyone I know and reads got this book at some point. And I have her second and only other book she has written at this point, We Never Ask for Wings. And I haven't read this yet, and I have no idea what's wrong with me. For one, the cover is stunningly beautiful. It's beautiful book, and I haven't read this, and I have no idea why, because I love this, so I can't wait to read this one, but I haven't yet, so I want to read that. And the second one is a similar case. I loved The 13th Tale by Diana Setterfield. I keep pushing this on everybody I know that reads, so I don't know why I have not yet picked up Bellman and Black by this author, because both of those authors write in a very unique and different way, but their stories are beautiful, very different, but I love them. They're very beautifully written books, so I really should finally read the second books from both of them. The next question is a book you got for Christmas and you would like to read. Now, I don't get books for Christmas from anybody because I get my own books and people just don't know what books to get me. And I don't live in the country where you can just go into a bookstore and buy English books for a reasonably price, because most of the English books are horrendously overpriced in our bookstores you go to. And most of the people I know don't necessarily buy books online. But I got myself a book for Christmas, and that is A Reunion of Ghosts by Judith Clare Mitchell, and it's a beautifully done book, and I can't wait to read this book. The question is a series you want to read, start and finish. Well, I can't finish the series, but I still want to read it this year, and that is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I have this first book and I own the second one. I have not read either of those, so I would like to do that. And the third book of this series, I think it's a 9-book series or 7-book series, not completely sure, but the third one is coming out in March, so I would really like to read the first and second book sometime this year, as well as the third one if I'm really into the series, but I want to finally start the series at least. Now, for the 10th question, a series you want to finish that you have already started, I could once again go to A Game of Thrones or A Song of Ice and Fire series by George R. R. Martin, because I started this in 2015 and I still haven't picked up the second book. So realistically, I know I will not be finishing or getting to the last book of the series that is currently out this year, because that is just unrealistic. So let's go with a more realistic one. I want to finally complete the Outlander series by Diana Gabaldon. I read this in 2015 as well, interestingly enough. I read this first one, I read about half of the second one, I put it down, I never picked it back up again, so I want to start over again. I want to reread this one and just finish the series off. And question 11 is, do you set reading goals? If so, how many books do you want to read this year? And I do set quite a bit of reading goals for myself. I won't be sharing all of them here, but I did my Goodreads goal this year of 200. I almost wanted to say 2,000. I did not do that. I did 200. But for me, Goodreads goals are more a suggestion, more an inspiration to get to read more, and so I put it a bit higher. Then I might lower it or not, I don't know, but for now it's 200. 12th question is any other reading goals. Another goal for reading for me I have this year is go back to reading more non-fiction. I really got sucked into the fiction world of booktube throughout the last 2 years, and picked up a lot of nonfiction books, and while that is fantastic and I love reading those, I also really love reading nonfiction books, and I kind of fell out of that habit, so I would love to get back into it and read more of those this year. I also want to finally really make it a goal for myself this year to read more European-based books. I don't know yet if I want to make this goal so that I can only count books that have been written by European authors and take place in Europe, or if I just overall want to read more European books. But I noticed that I read a lot of books from American authors or books that are set there, and I've never even been there, so constantly reading about it and just supporting authors from America is kind of just, I am a European, so why not support European authors and books set in Europe? So I will be doing that hopefully this year. If you have any recommendations for European-based books or books written by European authors, I would love to get them, so please feel free to leave them down in the comments. I would love to hear what book you would like to read this year, the one book you really want to read this year, either be it a new release that is not yet out or something you had on your shelves for a while. I just would love to hear the book you want to read this year, so please leave it down in the comments. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye!